Prahlada Narasri Mamade Charana Prapade Vikara Kamala Blae Nakam Abhuta Sringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanabringam Isavadita Narariropa Jai Jagadishade Jai Jagadishade Jai Jagadishade Kesavarita Nararirupa Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Jai Jagadishare Jaya Nasringare Jaya Nasringare Jaya Nasringare Jaya Nasringare Jaya Nasringare Jaya Narahare Jaya Narahare Jaya Narahare Jaya Narahare Jaya Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jai Srimad Bhagavan ki Jai Sri Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai Gaura Premanande Hariribo Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Welcome everyone to our Sunday Feast program. You could have been anywhere else on a Labor Day weekend, but you chose to come to the temple, and for that, Radha and Krishna will give you some special mercy and blessings. Thank you for coming. And today we are also observing Radhashtami. Radhashtami is the appearance day of Radha Rani, and that was on 29th August, on Tuesday, but we're observing it today because we usually have more people visiting us on Sundays. So we want to extend this benefit to as many people as we can. Is there any new persons who are visiting us for the first time today? If there is someone, please come forward. We have a little gift for you. Please come forward. One per family. And I'm just getting a few more. Please come back. I have some more. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Hare Krishna, welcome. I'll just get it. There you go. Thank you so much for coming. Did you get one? You can give him. So right now we're going to have a class about the glories of Radha Rani, and I'll be giving the class today. Our temple president is in ISKCON Chicago attending another seminar today, so I'm making these announcements on behalf of her and on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. And after the lecture or class, we will have prasadam downstairs, and we'll also continue singing some bhajans and kirtans in the temple room over here. And don't run away, we have some special surprise for you today also because of Radhashtami. So stay back for the whole program this evening. Thank you. Hare Krishna. This. She has to sing the song first. She's not even here. Rock it down. Okay. Hare Krishna. So normally we sing a little song called Jai Radha Madhava, which describes the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Today I'm going to skip that, and instead we'll have Shatarupa Mataji sitting in front of me. We're going to sing another song which glorifies the position of Radha Rani. And she will sing one line, and then you can follow along after that. Jaya Jaya Madhava
गोकुल तरुणी मंडल राधे जय जय माधव दैते
राधे जय जय माधव दैते
गोकुल तरुणी मंडल माहिते
गोकुल तरुणी मंडल माहिते
वर्धन वेशे हरि निष्कुट वृंदा विपिनेशे दामोदर राधे वर्धन वेशे हरि निष्कुट वृंदा विपिनेशे राधे जय जय माधव दैते
राधे जय जय माधव दैते
वृषभानुदादि नवशशिलेखे ललिता सखी गुण रमित विशाखे
वृषभानुदादि नवशशिलेखे ललिता सखी गुण रमित विशाखे
राधे जय जय माधव दैते
राधे जय जय माधव दैते
राम कुरुमयि करुणा भरिते सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते
करुणां कुरुमयि करुणामृते सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते
राधे जय जय माधव दैते
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 गोकुल तरुणी मंडल माहिते
गोकुल तरुणी मंडल महिते
गोकुल तरुणी मंडल माहिते
गोकुल तरुणी मंडल महिते
राधे
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 राधे जय जय माधव दैते
राधे जय जय माधव दैते
दामोदर राति वर्धन वेशे हरि निष्कुट वृंदा विपिनेशे
दामोदर रति वर्धन वेशे हरि निष्कुट वृंदा विपिनेशे राधे जय जय माधव दैते वृषभानुदादि नवशशिलेखे ललिता सखी गुण रमित विशाखे राधे जय जय माधव दैते राधे जय जय माधव दैते करुणां कुरु मयि करुणाभरिते सनक सनातन वर्णित चरिते Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. So, the position of Radha Rani is very, very glorious. And people in general, they do not know much about Radha Rani. In fact, Radha Tattva, or the truth about Radha Rani, it's a very, very confidential subject matter. Even in the Vedas, it's kind of presented in a hidden way. So there are many misconceptions or no conceptions at all sometimes about Radha Rani. And she's not just some ordinary lady or just even a great lady, or she's, sometimes people just think, okay, she's a lover of Krishna. Okay, she is a lover of Krishna, but is she just like a mundane lover of Krishna? No, she's not. She's much more than all that. In fact, she's the personification of the pleasure potency of the Lord. So, in the Vedanta Sutra is basically, it's the summary essence of all the Vedic scriptures. And within the Vedanta Sutra, there is one sutra which says Anandamayo Abhyasat. And that means that this is describing the nature of the absolute truth, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the nature of the absolute truth is that he is Ananda Maya Abhyasat, meaning that he's always blissful. Ananda means blissful. This is not just ordinary material happiness, but deep, very intense spiritual happiness, completely blissful all the time. But when you think of enjoyment or happiness, can you have that when you're just alone? Whenever there is enjoyment, you need more than one person. You can't just enjoy alone. You can't, when you want to, let's say even I'm speaking, if there is some pleasure in speaking today, it's because all of you are here. And if it's just like in room by myself, I'm just speaking, there's no happiness in that speaking. So enjoyment or happiness comes by sharing with others. In fact, this was one of the arguments of Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna said that I don't want to fight this war because even if I win the kingdom, I will not have all my cousins and relatives and grandfathers and uncles and all these people. They will not be there. So who am I going to enjoy the kingdom with, right? When you buy a big house or something, the first thing you do is share the news with all your friends and family about a big house. And then you have a housewarming. And then you invite everyone that you know. This is the way we enjoy. So where do we get this nature from? That's from God, or the absolute truth. So Krishna has this nature. And because Krishna has this nature of being this blissful personality, he expands into many. Eko Bahushyam. He expands into many. And we are all also his expansions. We are his parts and parcels. And Radha Rani is also his expansion. She is the personification of his pleasure potency. And she is the one who can give the topmost pleasure. So there's a very nice verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes the position of Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna pranaya vrikritir hladini shakti rasmad ekatmanav api bhuvi pura deha beda gathautau chaitanyakyam prakatam adhuna tatvayam chaikyamaptam Radha bhava dyuti suvalitam naumi Krishna swarupam. So what is this verse describing? So Radha Krishna pranaya vikriti, that means the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna, they're completely transcendental manifestations. And of what? The Hladini Shakti. Hladini Shakti is the pleasure potency of the Lord. So the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna, they're the transcendental manifestation of this pleasure potency. And ek atmana, eka means one, and atma means atma, soul. And so Eka Atma means that although they're one, but now they have divided into two or expanded into two. And then the next verse describes that now these two identities have combined together once again, and they have appeared as Lord Chaitanya. And then the fourth line is describing what is the complexion of Lord Chaitanya. He has the complexion, golden complexion, Radha Bhava Dyuti Suvalitam. He has the golden complexion of Radha Rani. And then this next verse, Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Dehadhari Anonye Vilase Rasa Asvadana Kori, describing the same thing in different language. So here's the translation of the verse. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they have assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love. So already we can see that this is not an ordinary loving affair at all. It is completely on a different platform. So here's a nice picture illustrating the verse that we just read. It's Radha and Krishna, and in the front over here is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but he appeared with the mood and complexion of Radha Rani. And why he appeared, he took this form because he wanted to understand what is the pleasure that Radha Rani is experiencing. What are the qualities within me? Krishna is thinking, what are the qualities in me that makes Radha Rani serve me in this manner? And he couldn't experience that without taking her form or her mood. So he appears as Lord Chaitanya. So it is actually just one, but manifesting as two. So Krishna is the potent factor, and Radharani is the potency. Or the Sanskrit for that is Shakti and Shaktiman, or the energetic and the energy. And just as much as you cannot separate, heat from fire, or sun rays or sunshine from the sun, in that same manner, you cannot actually say that Radha and Krishna are two different identities altogether, although they're manifesting in two different identities. So sunshine is a manifestation of sun, but sunshine is not totally different from the sun, right? So they are one Atma, but from time immemorial they have separated like this. And also for Krishna to enjoy something, he cannot enjoy something that is outside of him. He will never enjoy something that's outside of him. Because if God were to enjoy something that's outside of him, that would actually mean that God is incomplete in some way, right? God has everything. So if he finds something other which is beyond himself, that means, okay, there's something lacking and there's something not full in the happiness, and I need to go outside of myself to gain some kind of enjoyment. So he doesn't do that. God cannot lack anything. So it's his own energy that he enjoys. It wouldn't be proper for him to enjoy anything else. So Radha Rani is actually this manifestation, as we've said. And this Hladini Shakti is the particular aspect of bliss by which Krishna gets pleasure, Lord gets pleasure. And also it is by this potency that devotees also feel nourished. And by this he possesses transcendental bliss, and also it causes his devotees to experience bliss. So if we want to experience this transcendental bliss, we need to enter this Hladini Shakti or touch this Hladini Shakti, literally. There are, three potencies of Krishna described. There is the Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and the Tathastha Shakti. Antaranga Shakti is this internal potency or the spiritual potency. Bahiranga is the external potency, which is Maya or material energy. And Tathastha is the living entities. It means marginal energy. And this internal energy has three divisions. It has something called the Samvit, Sandhini, and Hladini. So the Samvit potency is the feature of eternity. And then the Sandhini is the feature of cognizance by which you know everything. And then there is the Hladini, which is the pleasure-giving potency, which, again, Radha Rani is the personification of this Hladini Shakti. And in fact, the very name Radha suggests that Srimati Radha Rani is eternally the topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. And as such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. She is the medium. If we have to reach Krishna, we have to go via Radha Rani. And via Radha Rani means also that those devotees who are following in her footsteps. It doesn't even mean just directly. It means that you become a servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of one who is following Radharani. So devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Srimati Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitors of Sri Krishna. So when you go to Vrindavan, you always hear everybody greets each other, even saying Radhe Radhe, because they understand that if we have to actually attain Krishna, we cannot attain but for the mercy of Radharani. So whatever we are offering, everything goes through this via medium of Radharani. And if she can recommend to Krishna, then Krishna will definitely bless us, because Krishna is completely sold out to Radharani's love. So whatever she says, he will do. So here is another verse which is sharing with us how Srimati Radhika is the transformation of Krishna's love. She is his internal energy called Hladini. And I want to share some more verses just very directly, because reading the verses directly have a certain potency, which when I paraphrase them, they don't have the same potency. So here's a few more verses describing the position of Radharani. The essence of Hladini potency is love of God. So in its highest expression, what is this pleasure potency? It's having this selfless love for Krishna, or love of God. And the essence of love of God is emotion. There's bhava. And the ultimate development of emotion is mahabhav. And Shri Radha Thakurani is the embodiment of this mahabhav. She's the repository of all good qualities and the crest jewel among all the lovely consorts of Lord Krishna. And her mind, senses, and body, everything, they're steeped in love for Krishna. She's Krishna's own energy, and she helps him in his pastimes. Further, the beloved consorts of Lord Krishna are three kinds. So there's three categories. So there's many forms of the Lord, and every form of the Lord has a consort, eternal consort. And so there's three categories of these consorts. So there's the goddess of fortune. So typically, goddess of fortune is the consort of who? The forms of Narayan or Vishnu. So the Narayan or Vishnu, again, he's the plenary expansion of Krishna himself, but he's not this original Krishna. So Narayan is the expansion of Krishna, and goddess of fortune is his eternal consort. Then there is the queens of Dwarka. Krishna had 16,108 queens or wives. And then there is the milkmaids of Vraja, or these are the Vraja gopis. And these Vraja gopis, or these are the devotees in Vrindavan who relate with Krishna with this conjugal rasa or conjugal mellow of love. And these are the foremost of all. So all of these consorts, they're actually expansions from Radharani or Radhika. Just as the fountainhead, Lord Krishna, is the cause of all incarnations, so Radha is the cause of all these different varieties of consorts. The goddesses of fortune are partial manifestations of Srimati Radhika. And the queens, they are reflections of her image. So without all these different expansions, or without all these varieties of consorts, actually there cannot be exaltation in rasa, or the mellows of love. And Radha Rani, therefore, she expands into all these different forms so that she can give pleasure to Krishna in every form that he appears. So this is the nature of love, as you can see. One who has love wants to please the beloved, and they don't mind going to any extent to please the beloved. They will take any form, they'll take any sacrifice, they will expand themselves, they will do anything that is needed to constantly give pleasure to their beloved. And this is the nature of Radharani, as we're seeing. So let's discuss a little bit further about the greatness of Radharani's love. So in this material world, when we think of love, we think of attraction between a male and female, or sometimes the love between parents and children, or something like that. So when there is attraction between a male and female, they say, I love you. That's what they say. But actually, we understand that from scriptures, from the Vedic scriptures, we understand that love is actually a word that can only be used to describe the unalloyed loving relationship between Krishna and the living entities. That is the only place actually pure love can exist, between Krishna and living entities. So love means there is no self-interest whatsoever. It's only the satisfaction of Krishna. But in this material world, although we say love, it is all about our satisfaction. And we see that all around, right? People see each other, they date each other, and they're, gaga over each other, and they're in love with each other so much, and then they live with each other to test it out before getting married, before making that commitment, although they're so much in love with each other, right? And then something else happens after that. Then they realize, because when there is this initial attraction, both the parties, they're trying to please the other party to the full extent. So it feels like love, and it's very nice. It's very nice when somebody's pleasing us all the time. But then, familiarity, and then it's like, why don't you get up and make your own coffee or make your own tea? Why do I have to iron your clothes? I've ironed your clothes for so many days, and now you can do it. So that love, so-called love, is absent, because now we're thinking in terms of our own self-interest. So there's a very nice verse, again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which describes the difference between love and lust. It's a very simple definition, but it's very profound. Something that will enter our heart deeply. Atmendriya priti vansha thare balikam, Krishnendriya priti icha dhare prema nam. So the desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, and kama means lust. And the desire to please the senses of the Lord, it is called prema. So there's a world of difference between love and lust. It's just like iron and gold, completely two different natures. But what is lust in this world, we think of it as love. So the revealed scriptures also describe what is pure love. And pure love is described as this. So it says, if there is ample reason for the dissolution of a conjugal relationship, and yet such a dissolution does not take place, such a relationship of intimate love is called pure. This is profound. So what is this verse saying? In simple words, it's saying that, okay, there is this conjugal relationship of love, and everything possible that can go wrong is going wrong in that relationship. There's ample reason to break that relationship, but yet one continues. And if one continues despite everything, despite all the obstacles, that is what scriptures describe as pure love. And anything short of that, if we have a little obstacle and we are ready to okay, I'm leaving you, I hate you, we immediately go to that, right? 2 arguments or 2 obstacles, our husband doesn't cooperate a little bit, or wife doesn't cooperate a little bit, the food, the prasadam doesn't come on time, or there's a little salt less, or there's a little more chili or something like that. We're ready to break the relationship oftentimes. But so that we can understand that we're definitely not on this platform of pure love. So the gopis of Vrindavan and the topmost gopis, Radha Rani, they were actually bound to Krishna in such pure love. And there was no question of lust or sexual love between them whatsoever. Although it may appear like that, there is nothing on that bodily platform. This is completely pure, just wanting to give pleasure to Krishna. Their only engagement in life was to see Krishna happy in all situations. One time, Krishna had a headache, and Krishna's and they tried so many things. Krishna's headache was not going away, and Krishna said, "Okay, the only way my headache will go away is if I get some dust from the feet of a brahmana." And so they go to so many brahmanas, and all the brahmanas say, no, I'm not going to give any dust. Are you crazy? If I give dust from my feet and Krishna puts it on his head, that's totally offensive. I'm going to go to hell. But when this news went to the gopis, and the gopis understood that Krishna had a headache, they said, take all the dust you want from my feet. If all the dust from our feet can relieve Krishna's headache even for a moment, we are willing to go to hell for millions of lifetimes. So there was no selfish interest at all. They just want to give pleasure to Krishna. They just zero selfish interest. So here's actually the purport to that previous verse, which describes in a very graphic way to the extent of sense gratification. The author of Chaitanya Charitamrita asserts with authority that sexual love is a matter of personal sense enjoyment. Acts of sense gratification may be performed under the cover of public welfare, so it looks like it's for the benefit of others. But actually there is still that sense of I somewhere in all of these activities, and you'll be surprised. It'll be like, wow, really? Even in all these activities that I thought it's like philanthropy and it's benefiting others, it's actually something about us. So it says, in the cover of public welfare, nationalism, religion, altruism, ethical codes, biblical codes, health directives, fruitive action, bashfulness, tolerance, personal comfort, liberation from material bondage, even desire for liberation from material bondage, even that comes under the category of sense gratification because it's about us. It's not about giving pleasure to the Supreme Lord Krishna. And progress, family affection, or fear of social ostracism or legal punishment. But all these categories are different subdivisions of one substance, sense gratification, meaning somewhere, even at the remotest, subtlest level, we're thinking about happiness of our senses, and we're not thinking about the happiness of Krishna's senses. But above all this is a transcendental stage in which one feels himself to be only an eternal servitor of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. All acts performed in this sense of servitude are called pure love of God because they're performed for the absolute sense gratification of Krishna. However, any act performed for the purpose of enjoying its fruits or results is an act of sense gratification. Such actions are visible sometimes in gross and sometimes in subtle forms. So this might be like somewhat like a shock for us, but this is the absolute platform. We don't have to get on that platform right away. We can go gradually. So don't be just paralyzed over here. So what about sometimes we see that the gopis and Radha Rani, you know, they're decorating themselves and they're dressing themselves so elaborately. Are they doing it for themselves, or are they doing this for Krishna, actually? So this is also, they're doing it for Krishna. Whatever affection we see that the gopis show for their own bodies, that is also because they're thinking, well, I've offered my everything to Krishna. This body actually belongs to Krishna. And when this body is decorated properly, it gives Krishna pleasure. So therefore, let me decorate myself. It's not like how we decorate, sitting in front of the mirror thinking, you know, what does Snow White say? No. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of all, right? So it's not that kind. I just forgot that for a minute. So, in fact, Krishna himself says this in Adi Purana. He says, he's speaking to Arjuna, and he's saying, "Oh Arjuna, there are no greater receptacles of deep love for me than the gopis who cleanse and decorate their bodies because they consider them mine." So, when the gopis actually see Lord Krishna, they derive unbounded bliss, although they have absolutely no desire for such pleasure. And they have no desire for any pleasure, but the gopis are actually tasting a pleasure that's 10 million times greater than the pleasure Lord Krishna derives from seeing them. Amazing. This is the nature of love. And so how is this possible? It seems like a contradiction that they have no desire for pleasure themselves, and yet they're getting so much enjoyment, 10 million times more than Krishna. So it's kind of perplexing. So the only way to understand this is that to understand that Krishna's sense of happiness rests on the happiness of those who love him. That's how much Krishna loves those who love him, and his happiness is the happiness of those who love him. So, and also the joy of the gopis lies in the joy of their beloved Krishna. So it's both ways, it's reciprocal. So therefore, actually the devotees of Vrindavan, or any elevated devotee, or any devotee, must actually serve the gopis, starting with Radha Rani and Radha Rani's followers. And if one can gain the favor of the gopis or the devotees of Radha Rani, then, you know, we are assured a ticket back home, back to Godhead. Krishna will certainly accept such persons. And in fact, for this reason, again, Lord Chaitanya, he wanted to, you know, please the gopis instead of Krishna. So he writes about it, or he speaks about it too. Further, there's another aspect of these gopis' love for Krishna. Their love for Krishna is so much, their mood of service for Krishna is so much, that if anything interferes, so they become so happy, and when they're situated in this ecstatic happiness, what happens sometimes is their limbs may, become stunned, or they may have tears from their eyes sometimes, right? And Radha Rani, curses the tears and says, why have you come in the way? I can't see my Krishna now, or I can't serve my Krishna properly. Or Daruka, who's a servant of Krishna, charioteer of Krishna, in ecstatic love, his limbs become stunned, completely frozen, and he thinks, what is this? Why have my limbs become stunned like this? I can't serve Krishna properly anymore. So you can try to understand the greatness of this love. That, sorry, I didn't read this. But the happiness of the abode of love is in the happiness of the object of that love. This is not a relationship of desire for personal gratification. Whenever there's unselfish love, that is its style. The reservoir of love derives pleasure when the lovable object is pleased. When the pleasure of love interferes with the service of Lord Krishna, the devotee becomes angry towards such ecstasy. So of course all these descriptions are at a very elevated platform, but we can appreciate the position of Radharani and her followers and try to follow in their footsteps. I'm going to shift gears a little bit. I'm going to talk about the appearance of Radharani. Here is Radharani's family tree. So her brother was Sridham, and sister is Ananga Manjari, father is Rishabhanu, mother is Kirtida, and there's uncles and aunts over here. And we've heard this name Sukada, some of us, grandmother on the father's side. And Mukhara is very well known, grandmother on the mother's side. Her name will come up, so that's why I wanted to show you this chart first. So there's different descriptions of Radharani's appearance because in different yugas she appears and again and again. Whenever Krishna appears, Radharani also appears with him always. So each time she appears, there's a slight difference in the way she appears to this world. So one description is described by Rupa Goswami as explained by Purnamasi to Gargamuni, or Gargi actually. And so this description goes like this. So there is this Vindhya mountain, and we know Himalaya mountain. So one time the Vindhya mountain was very envious of the Himalaya mountain. Why? Because the Himalayas had a daughter named Parvati. And Parvati had a husband named Shiva or Mahadev. And so she was very envious, he was very envious that Himalayas had a son-in-law of the caliber of Lord Shiva. So he wanted to have a daughter, and that whoever would marry this daughter would be actually able to defeat even Mahadev or Shiva. So Vindhya mountain does a lot of austerities. And he tried, I keep saying she, but sorry, it's a he. So he tries to please Lord Brahma with all these austerities. And Lord Brahma becomes pleased and he says, okay, what do you want? And Vindhya mountain says, well, I want such a daughter and such a son-in-law. And so Brahma says, all right, so be it, tathastu. And then after Lord Brahma grants this wish, then Lord Brahma is thinking, oh my God, how is this going to happen? What did I just say? Who is the person who can actually defeat Lord Shiva? I mean, Shiva is up there. The only person who can defeat Lord Shiva is actually Krishna. And so if this has to be the son-in-law, that means Radha Rani must be the daughter. How am I going to get Radha Rani to become the daughter of this Vindhya mountain? So then Lord Brahma, he does a whole bunch of austerities also. And then he tries to please Radharani. And then he requests Radharani, please, can you grant me this wish? Because I already said yes to this Vindhya mountain because Vindhya mountain pleased me with his austerities. So Radharani says, all right. So then already actually Vrishabhanu and Chandrabhanu, they were, their wives were carrying in their wombs Chandravali and Radharani, and the arrangement was made for them to be transferred from those wombs into the womb of Vindhya's wife's womb, basically, Vindhya's womb, you can call. So these daughters appear. In the meantime, what is happening is that Krishna takes his birth in Vrindavan. And you know Krishna's birth. Krishna appeared in the prison cell, right? And Kamsa was very upset, of course. He wanted to kill all these children of Vasudeva and Devaki. And we know that Vasudeva, as soon as Krishna was born, because he was the 8th child, he transported Krishna to the other side and exchanged Krishna with the daughter of Yashoda. So then Vasudeva brings back this daughter of Yashoda, and we know that Kamsa sees that, okay, this is the 8th child, and he knew that the 8th child would be the cause of his death. So he grabs hold of this 8th child and he tries to smash the child on a stone. And as soon as he tries to do that, she escapes and she just goes on the top. and she starts speaking and she says, Kamsa, the one who is, destined to destroy you, that person has already taken birth. So we all know this part. But after that, this Yogamaya, she also says that tomorrow, actually, there is 8 other Mahashaktis which are going to appear. And she names all of them. I have the names written here. Radha, Chandravali, Lalita, Vishaka, Padma, Shaibya, Shamala, and Bhadra. And he says that of all of these 8, 2 of them will be most famous. And whoever gets married to these 2, he will be able to defeat Lord Shiva. And then Yogamaya disappears after that. So, Kamsa hears all this, and what does he do? He orders Putana. He orders Putana to kill all the male children because he's worried that, we don't know which of this is Krishna because he's going to come and kill him. And then he says that go and abduct all the female children. So Putana goes and she actually finds these 2 female children, Chandravali and Radha Rani. And, she starts carrying them away. And Vindhya Mountain notices, oh wow, she's carrying my daughters away. And so he panics, and then he calls for some brahmanas. And he says, please chant some mantras and try to retrieve my daughters back. So this brahmana goes and chants some mantras. And by chanting of these mantras, what happens is that Putana starts becoming weaker and weaker. And so Chandravali, she just throws. And she drops in the region of Vidarbha. And king named Bhishmaka actually takes Chandravali. And later Jambavan takes this Chandravali and brings her back to Vindhya Mountain. And the Brahmana continues to chant the mantras. And she's not able to carry Radha Rani anymore. And she drops Radha Rani in the area of Vrindavan. And when she drops Radha Rani in the area of Vrindavan, Purnamasi picks her up. And then Purnamasi hands her over to Mukhara. Mukhara is the grandmother, as we saw in the chart. She's the grandmother of Radha Rani. And she says that please take good care of her. She is the daughter of your son-in-law, Vrishabhanu. So that's one way that Radha Rani appeared in this world. I'm looking at time, so I may have to skip the other 2 variations, which are also very nice pastimes, but I'm just going to skip that. This is the deity of Radha Rani in Raval, actually. So another place she appears, Radha Rani, is in Raval. I'll just quickly say it in 2 minutes. Vrishabhanu and Kirtida, they were trying to have children, and they couldn't have children. So Kirtida says, go and, appease Katyayani. So he goes and tries to appease Katyayani. And Katyayani appears and she says, well, you should actually chant the holy name. The holy name is the only way you can become purified. And so, and you should receive the holy name from a proper person. So then Vrishabhanu, who's the father of Radharani, he goes to Kratu Muni and he receives the Mahamantra, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from Kratu Muni, and then he goes and chants on the banks of Yamuna. And then Katyayani appears and she says, what boon do you want? And he says, well, you already, just by seeing you, all my desires are fulfilled, but if you still want to give me some boon, you know what's in my heart. So then she gives him a box with a golden egg. And Vrishabhanu becomes very happy and he goes home and he continues chanting this Mahamantra. And one fine day, from this golden egg actually appears Radharani. And there's yet another description of how Vrishabhanu, once he was meditating on the banks of Yamuna, and 1,000-petal lotus appears. And when the 1,000-petal lotus appears, Radharani is on this 1,000-petal lotus. And she's very beautiful, and there's beautiful descriptions of her form and beauty and everything. So Radharani appears like this within this world. So Narad Muni, our transcendental spaceman, who's always wanting to serve Krishna and glorify Krishna in all possible ways, he is traveling all over, and one time he reaches Goloka, or the spiritual world. And he's feeling that all the pastimes are really appearing pale right now. What's wrong? Everything is there, but it's appearing so pale and tasteless. So then he understands that, oh, Krishna is gone to the material world. So then he thinks, I have to go see Krishna, the baby form of Krishna in the material world. So the first place he goes when he comes to the material world, he goes to the place of Nanda Maharaj, who's the father of Krishna. And he takes darshan of Krishna, and he offers beautiful, beautiful prayers to Krishna. And then he thinks, well, Krishna has appeared, so his consort must have appeared too. Radha Rani must have appeared too. So he takes a vow, I'm going to go to every house in Vrindavan until I find Radha Rani. So he goes, he knocks on every house and says, do you have a daughter who's just born? And he blesses all these different daughters. And then he finally reaches the house of Rishabhanu and Kirtida. And so he asks them, do you have some newborns here? So Rishabhanu, he hands over Sridham, who's the brother of Radharani. And he says, this is, Sridham, you can bless him. And Narad Muni blesses him, and he embraces him again and again. He's a beautiful boy, and he tells that this Sridham will actually be an associate of Krishna and Balaram. You should take care of him very nicely. And then just as Narad Muni is leaving, Rishabhanu then tells. Rishabhanu was feeling very embarrassed and shy because Radharani was there, but she was blind and she was dumb and she wouldn't utter any sounds or anything. So he was very embarrassed to show such a child first to Narad Muni. But as he's leaving, Rishabhanu thinks, well, we also have another daughter who was just born yesterday. But she's deaf and blind and dumb. And maybe by your mercy and blessing, something can happen. So please come, she's inside. I'll take you to her. And so Narad Muni picks up Radharani on her lap. And as soon as he picks up Radharani, he goes into a stage of ecstasy completely. And he offers beautiful, beautiful prayers to Radharani. And then he starts glorifying Krishna's beauty. And when he starts glorifying Krishna's beauty, Radharani assumes a very young Kishori form, a 14-year-old girl form. She's most beautiful. And when she manifests this form, of course, Narad Muni is completely stunned, and he's not able to offer any more prayers after that. And then the friends of Radharani, the Sakhis, the friends of Radharani, they come and they wash the feet of Radharani, and then they sprinkle some water on Narad Muni so that he kind of wakes up from his, he comes back to his consciousness. And then Narad Muni comes back to his consciousness, and the Sakhis tell him, what this vision that you've seen, it's most magnificent. It's a rare vision. It is Radharani's mercy by which you've seen this vision. And you can offer all the prayers you want now, because this form is going to disappear soon. And later, in Vrindavan, you will see this form again near the Ashoka tree. And, that time you will be able to see this form again, but now this form is going to disappear. So Narad Muni is offering his obeisances and offering prayers to Radharani. And just at that time, Rishabhanu walks in, the father of Radharani. And Rishabhanu says, what are you doing? Why are you offering all these prayers and obeisances to my daughter? And Narad Muni says, it's all right, everything is going well, don't worry, all is well. And then Narad Muni just leaves. So Rishabhanu and Kirtida, of course, they were very concerned that their daughter was blind and deaf and dumb. So they were thinking, what to do. But the news about the beauty of Radharani spread all around. So all their friends were coming to see Radharani and bless her. And of course, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they were friends with Rishabhanu and Kirtida. So they also come. And Rishabhanu, Kirtida greet Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda very warmly. They're embracing each other. And as they are all greeting each other and embracing each other and exchanging affectionate words and all that, Krishna, he goes into the room where Radha Rani is. And baby Krishna, he crawls up and he goes and just touches Radha Rani. And as soon as Krishna touches Radha Rani, of course, she knows that this is Krishna, her beloved, and she immediately opens her eyes. There's also another version of the same thing of how Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda come to see. And so Yashoda had Krishna in her lap. She was carrying Krishna. And then when she sees Radharani, she puts Krishna down so that she can pick up Radharani. And she picks up Radharani and puts her on her lap. And then Krishna, of course, he knows how to get attention, and he cries, and all babies know how to get attention. And he starts crying because Mother Yashoda put him down. And so then Mother Yashoda picks him back up, and she has both the babies on her lap. And babies like to touch each other when they're next to each other. So Krishna touches Radharani, and then immediately she opens her eyes. So there's a reason why Radharani appeared actually blind. Because before Krishna chose to appear in this material world, Krishna told Radharani, I'm going down, and you need to come along with me. And Radharani says, I don't want to come. I don't want to see all these people. The only person I really want to see and serve is you. I don't want to have to see all these different people. And Krishna says, don't worry, you'll be able to see me all the time. So then on that condition, Radharani agrees. And then she says that you should be the first person that I see. Until then, I'm not going to open my eyes at all. So that is why she appeared in this way, blind form. So now, celebrating Radharani's appearance, we're going to do a short bhajan of how everyone becomes joyful in Vrindavan upon the appearance of Radharani. This is a beautiful bhajan by Narahari Chakravarti. Radhika janma titi dina jani Raje ke hodriti dharite nare
Nanda Yashodadi adhika ulase Eshena vrishabhanu puragare
Nanda Yashodadi adhika ulase Eshena vrishabhanu puragare
Nunande kusari gare Ane Yashodaya kritikalaya
Vrishabhanu nande agusari gare Ane Yashodaya kritikalaya
Dadi haridradi chadayangane Nache gopagana harasahaya
Dadi haridani chadayangane Nache gopagana harasahaya
Bhaje ke tabadi vadya kulahale Keho karu kota na shune kane
Bhaje ke tabhati vadya kulahale Keho karu kata na shune kane
Paya samaya kala lakita Chahi rahe rai mukhera pane
Paya samaya kala lakita चाही रहे रामुखे रापाने
राधा विदुमुखी श्यामा मुख शोभा हेरी राधे नारे फिराइते आंकी
राधा विदुमुखी श्यामा मुख शोभा हेरी राहे नारे फिराते आंखी
नारा हरि बाने न जानी की रासा प्रकाशाए दूहु धोनारे देखी
नारा हरि बाने न जानी की रासा प्रकाशाए दूहु धोनारे देखी
प्रकाशाए दूहु धोनारे देखी
प्रकाशाए दूहु धोनारे देखी
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we thought today we would go on till 7 because it's a festival and we are trying to do a combination of class bhajans together. Is that all right with everyone? Or should I try to finish in 10 minutes? Because I will decide what I want to speak based on that. Anybody has an objection to go on till 7? Yes, you have. Yes, we have a bhajan. We have a bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur after this. Yes, okay. Yes, definitely Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So what Prabhu is saying is that today is also the appearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he is one of the great acharyas in our line. I see people disappearing. I don't want people to disappear. So I will wrap up my class if you're going to disappear. But he's one of the great acharyas in our line. And to speak about him, we can actually speak days and days about him. That's how glorious this personality is. But I did not choose to speak at length about him, mainly because we are observing Radhashtami today, and that has been my focus. But we'll speak a little bit, and what I chose instead is a bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur glorifying Radha Rani, because it fits in with the theme for me, and that's what we decided to do. So I am thinking, there's so many wonderful pastimes that I wanted to share. Well, we'll do 2 pastimes, hopefully 10 minutes each, okay? So these pastimes, as we know, the loving affairs between Radha and Krishna, they're completely on a transcendental platform. And by simply giving oral reception or giving attention to these pastimes, actually our own hearts become completely purified and love for Krishna can awaken within our heart. That is the potency that is there within these pastimes. So one time, Krishna was completely overwhelmed with love for Radha Rani, and he told her, the essence of all worship is actually to worship you. If someone worships me without first worshipping you, they will get no result. You're actually my pleasure-giving potency. You derive pleasure by giving me pleasure. You do not expect anything from me except my association and service. Thus, anyone following your process of worship will be very dear to me. Without your merciful glance, nobody can attain me. So Radha Rani, upon hearing this, she laughs and she says, your character is like a debauchee. I do not believe in your words. Yashamati is your dear mother. How can you say I'm greater than her? What is the reason? And Krishna says, very soon you will see. If she's saying, even though she's saying that, you're her daughter, very soon you'll see that she'll come to catch hold of your feet. So Krishna enacts a pastime now to prove the greatness of Radha Rani. So one time, all the gopis, they bring Radha and Krishna together in one house to have fun with them. And they were deriving great pleasure in uniting both of them. And the gopis are all chanting and dancing, and they're making Krishna dance. And as they're doing this, Mother Yashoda comes, and she says, she's very upset and she's angry, and she says, "What are you doing? My little Kanaya, he's been cow herding all day and he's very tired, and now you're making him dance? Please don't do this. You always do these things. You better not do this again." And then the gopis say, "Well, Mother Yashoda, actually, this is our Krishna. This is not your Krishna. You know, just because Krishna is your son's name doesn't mean that no one else can have the name Krishna. This is our Krishna. You can go back and check in your house. Krishna must be sleeping in your house." So Mother Yashoda is thinking, well, how is it possible? You know, he has all the same features, and they're saying that this is not my Krishna. But anyway, Mother Yashoda knows that Radha Rani doesn't speak lies. So she goes back home. And sure enough, she finds Krishna sleeping over there. And so she's very surprised that Krishna is sleeping right here. And she's bewildered, but she's also happy. And then she goes back to the place where the other Krishna is with all these gopis. And so she goes there, and the gopis are still having fun with Krishna. They're chanting and dancing and everything. And then she tells to them, "Oh, Sakhis, you know, what is this? How is it possible that you found this Krishna who looks exactly like my son Krishna? He has the same features, they're the same age, they have the same color, they have the same physique, they walk the same way, they talk the same way, they make all expressions the same way. Everything is same about him. And actually by seeing your Krishna, I'm feeling so much happiness. My heart is becoming so full. Where did you find this Krishna?" So, and then she says, of course the gopis don't answer that question. And then she says, "You know, maybe we should make friendship between these two Krishnas. Why don't you bring your Krishna and we'll take him home to my Krishna, and they both can be friends and they both can dance together, and then we'll all have a lot of enjoyment." So, and so then he says, so then Krishna prompts Radha Rani. So upon Krishna's prompt, Radha Rani says, "Well, you're telling us to take our Krishna to your Krishna, but actually we are very, very scared. Because what if after going there, they're both dancing and they both get mixed up? How will we be able to identify our Krishna and bring him back? So he may become exchanged." So Mother Yashoda says, "If that happens, what's the problem? They both are the same anyway, they have all the same qualities." So then the gopis start speaking. And they say, no, our Krishna can never be same as your Krishna. Because your Krishna, you know, he's always grazing the cows, he's cow herding and all that, but he has no knowledge of love. He doesn't know anything about the truth of prema. He knows nothing. But our Krishna, he's incomparable among all the Purushas. You know, our Krishna, he's killed so many demons, and he even corrected Lord Brahma, you know, when he tried to steal the calves and cowherd boys, and he mistook Krishna to be an ordinary boy. He even corrected Lord Brahma. And then Mother Yashoda says, "My Krishna also killed all these demons." Everyone in Vrindavan knows that Krishna, when he was just a few days old, he killed Putana. He killed Shakatasura, the cart demon, and he killed Bakasura, and she goes on and on of all the different demons that he killed. And then Radha Rani says, if we continue discussing like this, we may just end up in a quarrel. Let me do one thing. You know, I'll put some kind of mark with sandalwood on Krishna's forehead so that we can distinguish our Krishna from your Krishna. Okay, chalo, let's go. We'll go to your home. So then they go to Mother Yashoda's home, and they see this Krishna sleeping. And Mother Yashoda wakes him up, and he says, "Look, meet this other Krishna." So they both start actually dancing after that, and they make friendship. So here's two Krishnas, and they're dancing. Right? I tried to make a dance here with PowerPoint. But what happens is that after some time, Mother Yashoda's Krishna merges into the Krishna of the gopis. And this Krishna is gone. And so then after this happens, the gopis take their Krishna and they start walking away. And then Mother Yashoda just comes and she says, "You know, I can't find my Krishna. Where is he? Where is my Krishna? Where did he go? You're taking away your Krishna. You must give me back my Krishna." And Radha Rani says, "You know, where can we find your Krishna? This is our life and soul. This Krishna is not your son. You see the chandan mark on his forehead. We're taking our Krishna. I don't know where your Krishna is." And Mother Yashoda, of course, she's piteously crying by this time, and she says, "All of you were making him dance. You must have hidden him somewhere. This is your trick, Radha. I know you're always making tricks." So then Radha Rani says, "Look, this whole compound is surrounded by a big wall. And we've all been here, and we've all been dancing. And we don't know where he is. We don't know just where to find him. We did not leave this place at all, so we don't know. We've been here all the time." So Mother Yashoda, by now, in great piteous voice, she says, "I don't have 5 or 7 children. I have only one child. And he's the wealth of happiness for both his father and mother. Oh Radha, my life air is about to leave the body. Please give me back my Krishna and save my life. I'm catching your feet. From today I'll become your maidservant." And Radha Rani says, "Oh my God, what is this? You are the queen of Raja, and you're my elder. I'm supposed to worship you. You're my worshipable, and you're touching my feet. This is actually a great offense on my part. You know, why are you speaking these bad words to me?" So then Mother Yashoda says, "You just bring my son back as fast as possible, and then all your offenses will go away." But Radha Rani is like, "You know, but how can I bring him? Where shall I go and search for him? I don't know where he is." And Mother Yashoda is crying piteously and saying that, "I cannot maintain my life anymore." And she just fainted and she falls down. And of course Radha Rani starts freaking out now. And she turns to Krishna and she says, "What to do now? Your mother who carried you in the womb, she's dying in front of you. Please tell me what to do." And so Krishna says, "Don't worry, my mother is not going to die." So he says something to her in her ear, Radha Rani's ear. And then Radha Rani goes to Mother Yashoda and says in the ear, "Krishna's mother, Yashoda, Krishna's mother, wake up, arise, your Krishna's come back." And as soon as Mother Yashoda hears Krishna's name, of course she comes back. And then Radha Rani says, "Well, actually your son had just become tired from dancing, so he just went back to sleep. Go and see, he must be sleeping there." So Mother Yashoda goes back and she finds beautiful Krishna sleeping there on the bed. And Mother Yashoda picks up beautiful Krishna with great affection and embraces him and kisses him again and again. And then all the gopis, they leave to their respective houses. So through this pastime, Krishna himself showed how Radha Rani's love is actually supreme, that there is nobody beyond this. So here's a beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur called Radhika Charana Padma, glorifying service to the lotus feet of Radha Rani.
Radhika Charana Padma Sakala Shreya Sadma
Radhika Charana Padma Sakala Shreyera Sadma
Jatane Jenahi Aradilo
Jatane Jenahi Aradilo
Radha Padmankita Dhama Vrindavana Janama
Radha Padmakita Dhama Vrindavana Jarnama
Tata Jenashray Korilo
Tata Jena Ashray Korilo
Radhika Bhava Gambir Chitta Jiva Mahadhir
Radhika Bhava Gambir Chitta Jeva Mahadivir
Gana Sangana Koilo Jivane Kemone Shishamananda Rasa Sindhu Snanananda
Kemone se Shamananda Rasa Sindhu Snanananda
Lahibe Mujoha Ekamane
Habibe Bujeha Ekamane
Je Dharilo Radha Padma Parama Jatane Se pailo Krishna Pada Amulya Ratane
Paila Krishna Pada Amulya Ratane
Radhika Ujjwala Rasera Charya
Nase Charya
Radhika Ujjwala Rasera Charya
Radhika Ujjwala Rasera Charya
Radha Madha Shuddha Prem Vicharya
Radha Madha Shuddha Prema Vicharya
Radha Madha Shuddha Prema Vicharya
Radha Madha Shuddha Prema Vicharya
Radha Pada Bina Kabu Krishna Nahi Mile
Radha Pada Vishnu Kabu Krishna Nahi Mile
Radha Dasi Krishna Sarva Vede Bole
Radha Dasi Krishna Sarva Vede Bole
Chodata Dhana Jan Kalatra Sutamita
Jagan Kalatra Sutamita
Chodata Karama Geyan
Nudata Karama Geyan
Radha Pada Pankaja Madhurata Sevan
Radha Pada Pankaja Madhurata Sevan
Bhakti Vinoda Parama
Bhakti Vinoda Parama
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur
this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one you see in the picture, and it is his appearance day today. He is the father of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as we know, is the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, by whose mercy we are all here today. And of course, we can talk so much about Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but that was not the focus of today's presentation, and therefore we're not going much into it. But we owe a lot to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared at a time when there were already so many Apasampradayas, or the disciplic succession was already breaking, or Lord Chaitanya's teachings, they were not being followed properly. And in such an atmosphere, he actually re-established everything properly. He was a lawyer, he was a high court judge actually, and he was a high court judge. He wrote so many books, more than 100 books, and he established 500 Namahata centers all over Bengal and beyond. And his glories are actually never ending. But again, I wish we can do another class on Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so I'm not going to speak as much, but we can offer our prayers to Bhaktivinoda Thakur today for this mercy to descend upon in our lives, because Radha Rani's mercy is actually coming through her followers, through the chain of disciplic succession. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is one of the chief bearers of this mercy. And we can offer our prayers to him so that we can properly follow in his footsteps. And I want to end with one more pastime. And you will all have an opportunity to write a prayer to Radha Rani today. We have something very special arranged for you. And that's how this pastime connects. This is a pastime written by Raghunath Das Goswami, who's a very, very elevated acharya also. He used to be always so absorbed in his bhajan, so much so that in the hot sun, sometimes he would engage in bhajan. Radha Rani personally would come and put her sari over his head just to protect him from that heat. That was the kind of love he had for Radha and Krishna. And the tigers would come and Krishna would protect him from these tigers. So he wrote this very beautiful pastime, an eternal pastime, a pastime that brings a lot of joy to all the devotees' hearts. It's called the Pearl Pastime, Mukta Charita. So, this pastime, one day, actually Satyabhama, who's one of the queens of Dwarka, she asked Krishna, I heard that one time you made a garden and grew pearls from creepers in that garden. Can you tell me something about that? So Krishna says, well, on the day of Diwali, in the month of Kartik, Radha Rani and the gopis, they had assembled in this one place called Malaya Hari Kund. This Malaya Hari Kund is in the vicinity, it's in the Govardhan area, very close to Radha Kund. And so they had all assembled there, and they were all making pearl necklaces. So they were making lots of pearl necklaces to garland all the cows and everything. And Krishna goes there. Actually, Krishna's parrot informed Krishna that the gopis were here. And so Krishna goes there and he says, can you please make, some necklaces for our cows too, for Hamsi and Harini? We want to put these pearl necklaces on them. And of course, Radharani and the gopis, they just say, get out of here. You two are always causing trouble. Just get out of here. We're not going to give you anything. And then the Krishna and all the cowherd boys, they're really begging, please, just give us two. If not for all the cows, just give us for two cows, Hamsi and Harini, that's it. And Lalita, she's the feisty one here, in this peacock dress here. She comes forward and she looks through all the necklaces and she gets one broken necklace and she says, here, you can have this one. And she walks away. And so then all the gopis, they start giggling. Oh, this picture's out. Yeah, no, it's in order. Sorry, I got a little mixed up with the pastime. So Krishna becomes very unhappy, And then he goes home to Mother Yashoda and he says that, these gopis, they didn't give me any pearls. I'm going to grow my own pearl trees. Please give me the pearls. I'm going to plant them and I will grow my own pearl trees. And Yashoda Mai says, Gopal, don't you know pearls don't grow from trees? They don't grow from the ground. They come from the ocean. You're not going to get pearls. And he says, no. Whatever you put in the soil, they become into plants and trees. And I have seen Nanda Baba do this. I'm going to do it. You will see when I plant these pearls, definitely pearl trees are going to come. So Mother Yashoda loves Krishna so much. She says, all right, you take these pearls. And so Krishna goes to the bank of Yamuna and he makes little holes and digs up and puts all these pearls and then buries them. And then he asks one of his cowherd boyfriends, Madhumangal, he says, go and bring milk from the gopis. We are going to water these pearls with milk and yogurt and everything because they must be very strong, these trees. We need a lot of pearls. So Madhumangal, he goes to the gopis and he begs for some milk. And the gopi says, what do you want this milk for? And he says, well, we planted pearls. We're growing our own pearl trees because you didn't give us any pearls. And so we want to water these pearls which are in the ground now. And they all start laughing. Are you crazy? Pearls are not going to grow. We refuse to give you any milk. Get lost. So then Krishna sends Madhumangal to Mother Yashoda. And he asks, Mother Yashoda, please give us some milk. We want to water our pearls so that they can grow nicely. And Mother Yashoda says, okay, you can take all the milk you want. We have 9 lakh cows and you can take all the milk you want. So he takes a lot of milk and they they milk. They milk these pearls, right? And after some time, there's little green shoots start coming out. And they get very excited. And then they call all the gopis. And they say, come, just see. You said nothing will grow, but look, these green shoots are coming out. And these are pearl plants. And they say, no, these are thorny twigs. What do you expect? Just wait for them to grow a little more. You will see that they're thorny bushes. That's all you're going to get. And of course, Krishna continues to water them. And soon, as they continue to water them and milk them and so on, nice creepers start growing. And there were these multicolored pearls. This is the closest picture I found to a pearl, by the way. I'm sure Krishna's pearl tree looked much better than this by the description, but I couldn't find anything better. It looks close. They're purple pearls. So Krishna's pearl trees, they were multicolored pearls. And they were so special that they had such a fragrance. It was like an intoxicating fragrance that spread all around Vrindavan. And Krishna started laughing and joking with the gopis, and he said, my pearls are so big and so colorful and fragrant compared to yours. Your pearls don't have any smell. So then, of course, the gopis, they became competitive. And they think, look, watch, we are going to grow our own pearls too now. So now they go and they take they have lots of pearls already with them, and they start planting them. And then they go and ask their parents, whatever pearls they have, they try to get their pearls. And then they plant all of these pearls in the ground. And they start watering them with water and milk and butter and ghee and yogurt and everything, much more than what Krishna did, right? Because they knew how to make all these things. Krishna was just putting milk mostly. So they water, and they keep watering. And then after a few days, what happens? Some shoots start coming out, and they get excited too. But after some time, they were just thorny twigs. They were not pearl plants like the ones Krishna grew. And of course, when Krishna came to know this, he just was laughing and joking, and Krishna really wanted to humiliate all the gopis even further. This was his rasa. Sometimes in love we do these things, right? We just like to joke at others and so on when we are very good friends with someone. So what he did, he had all his cowherd boyfriends make lots of pearl necklaces, and they were big and beautiful and fragrant, and they made pearl necklaces for all the cows of Vrindavan. As you can see here, all the cows, they put these nice necklaces. And then they also had necklaces for every buffalo, every goat, every sheep, even monkey. You can see even the monkey has a pearl necklace here. You see that? So they put these pearl necklaces for everyone. And they were really like trying to tease the gopis. So these gopis, in the meantime, they were in a lot of anxiety because they had taken all these pearls from their parents and relatives, and all they got was these thorns, thorny bushes. And they were like, what are we going to go back and tell our parents and relatives? We need to do something. So they sent two of their friends, Chandramukhi and Kanchan Lata, to gopis, and they say, go to Krishna and just barter for our gold. You know, we have a lot of gold ornaments. Just give him this gold and ask him to give us some pearls. And Krishna says, you know, even if you bring the Kaustuba money, which is a jewel on Lord Narayan's chest, he says, even that jewel is not worth a fraction of the price of my one pearl. And he refuses to give even one pearl to these gopis. So one by one, all the gopis, they come and they give whatever they have, they try to barter with Krishna. And Krishna, of course, doesn't budge an inch. And Radha Rani was not with all these gopis, but she's watching from the back, and she's feeling very sad by this point. She was hearing everything. And each gopi, Krishna was just completely rejecting. And he had this large box of pearls he grew, but no matter what, he just wasn't giving. He said, I will give you, finally Krishna said, I will give you the smallest of all my pearls to Radha Rani, not to any of you. I will give the smallest of my pearls to Radha Rani, and the payment for this will be that she has to do whatever I say. She has to pay the price, and she has to do that immediately. And if she doesn't do that, I'm going to put her in the prison of one of my private groves, kunjas. And that's what is going to be the punishment. So nothing was really working, right? So then when nothing works, you get a conflict mediator. So they got Subal, who was the conflict mediator. And even he tried so many ways to mediate this conflict, some way to get more pearls than this very small pearl that he gave to Radharani. But he just would not budge an inch. But finally, you know, when Krishna sees that the gopis and Radharani are sufficiently depressed and sad, he decides to reciprocate. So the gopis, they were at Radha Kund at this time, and Krishna then, he takes the best of his pearls with his own hands, and he strings this with into a most elegant necklace, and he personally puts it on Radharani. And he even makes like a golden box, and he engraves her name on that box. And similarly, after that, you know, he does that for each of the gopis. He makes a pearl necklace, and he makes a box with their name written, and he rewards each of the gopis in this manner. So there's lots of, you know, nice details to this story, which I'm not going into. But you know, all the gopis then become very happy, and they go back and they share with their parents all these pearls that they got, and they say, and the parents ask, well, how did you get all these pearls? Well, we grew them from the ground. And you know, all the you know, Rajavasis become very, very happy. So this is a beautiful pastime, a loving pastime between Radha and Krishna. But we can also get access to these pastimes. And how can we get access to this pastime? So this pearl exchange that they had between them, it's not just a pearl, it's not just limited to that, but actually within this pearl pastime is the compassion of Radha and Krishna. So I like to think of the pearl as a pearl of compassion in one sense. And we can also gain access to these pastimes by the practice of devotional service. And this pearl of compassion from Radha and Krishna, as we've already said, it is being passed on through the disciplic succession to us. And when we chant the holy name and when we take up devotional service and practice it nicely and serve the Vaishnavas and please the devotees, then one day we can also directly see these pastimes and witness these pastimes and hopefully one day enter into those pastimes. Of course, that's a very elevated platform. But there is hope because there is great mercy that is available within our disciplic succession. So now I would like, we have some pearls with us today. And so you can pass it on. So we have these cards, and on each of these cards, there is a pearl that is stapled here. And we're going to pass these cards around quickly. Maybe you can just pass some to the men and some to the ladies. And we'll pass pens also along with that. And you can all write your personal prayer to Radha Rani today and to the disciplic succession and to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that somehow that we can all actually come to this stage where we value this pearl of devotion the most, and that whatever other things that we do in our life, that we can actually see them as thorny bushes or just obstacles on our path to devotion. Somehow that we may become fixed in this process of devotional service, and that whatever obstacles come, that we can actually go beyond them. So you can compose your own personal prayer. Radha Rani is most merciful. And she's most merciful particularly on her appearance day. And similarly, today is Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day too. And any acharya, they're most merciful. They're always merciful, but they're particularly merciful on the appearance days. And now after you write your prayer, we have more. Can I have the, Reena? Can I have that tray in the back? So after you all write your prayer, we're going to collect all your cards on this tray. And what do I have on this tray? I have something very special on this tray. As you can see, there is some dust here. This is not ordinary dust. This dust is all the way from Vrindavan. This is Vrajaraj. And the dust of Vrindavan, it's not ordinary at all. Actually, it is said that every grain of this dust of Vrindavan, it is Chintamani, meaning that it has the power to fulfill any desire you have. So we are going to place all your prayers on this, and your prayers are going to touch this dust of Vrindavan. And then we're going to place this on the altar at the lotus feet of Radha Rani. And so she will certainly accept this prayer for sure. And these are not just hyperboles or exaggerations of some kind. Actually, this is the truth. If we approach it with faith, we will experience something wonderful in our life. So write your prayer with that faith, and we'll make this offering. And after that, we'll take all these pearls and we'll make a beautiful necklace for Radha Rani after that. So next week, you can see the necklace. We'll make the necklace by next week, which Radha Rani will be adorning this necklace. So please take just maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes to write your prayer, and then we'll quickly collect all the prayers. I will come around personally. And I apologize, we went a little bit over time, but it was really hard. If somebody needs a card, you need a card? Just put it in the donation box here. So you can give this to the pujari. Okay. So as you all are taking the blessings of Radha and Krishna, I just have a couple of announcements very quickly. There is a beautiful verse that is projected here. This verse says that if on the full moon day of the month of Bhadra, one places Srimad Bhagavatam on a golden throne and gives it as a gift, he will attain the supreme transcendental destination. So we are very, very fortunate. It's actually a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that this Bhadra Purnima that this verse is talking about is arriving on Tuesday, September 5th. So if you want, apart from the prayers that you just wrote, if you want a very easy ticket back to Godhead, all you have to do is gift this Bhagavatam, which is displayed over here, place it on a golden throne and gift it to someone. You can also gift it to yourself, but it's nice to gift it to someone if you can. And normally we sell these Bhagavatams. This is a priceless literature. Normally we sell this Bhagavatam for $400. But because it's Bhadra Purnima, because it's the festival season, because we want the maximum number of you to get this benefit to go back to Godhead, we're just requesting for $250, which is nothing, basically. It's a ticket back to Godhead. We buy so many tickets in this world for $300, $400, $500. You know, most of us go to India every year, and we spend $1,000 on that ticket. So this ticket back to Godhead, to our eternal home, back home, this is actually nothing. So please